Welcome back, y'all, to the second podcast of the Scholars Social. I am Jonah Ruffin.
I'm Jayla Jackson.
I'm Dan Brown.
I'm Sinai Edwards.
And I'm Zayla Bryant.
Y'all, it's the second one. How y'all feeling?
How
y'all
First
feeling?
of all, our first one was fire, so if you have not seen that one, go watch that one.
Go check it out on
right
all
now.
platforms at The Scholar Socials.
Y'all make sure your phones are turned off, because y'all know y'all mans be calling.
Who's man?
Who's
Don't
men?
do that.
No men.
It's
It's the Scholars
At all.
Social.
Child.
It's
who
there
got-
for me. Y'all
Yeah.
see about some who's man.
It's whose man's when it's her
Right.
man's. That's whose man's. We're gonna have to get
y'all,
into that.
I have no time for
We have no time.
No, the
And I think
grind,
that poses a great
babes.
question, though.
Right.
Can we honestly handle a relationship and still get our grind? Can we?
Us?
That brings us to the point.
Let's talk about it.
So honestly, I think that's a very, very multifaceted question. Like, I think there's
We need to
lots.
break that down.
Right,
We
right.
have to.
I think that we should first off start with what is a relationship? Like,
Specifically as a teenager, because I don't
Right.
think a lot of people
Yeah, we need to
know
add
us.
that modifier.
Yeah, we're teenagers.
Right.
We have a hustle.
Right.
We want to be somewhere at a specific time.
right.
Yeah.
So how do we handle enjoying our teenage life and still trying to focus on our money?
And I think that I'll start because y'all know I be in the streets.
Yeah,
I be in the
bye.
streets.
Bye.
And I think that it's just like a balance. It's a balance of knowing when to hang out with your friends, knowing when to go out, knowing when to have a good time, but knowing when you need to get your stuff done. Like knowing when you need to grind because you have things that you're trying to accomplish, you know? I think that it really takes self-discipline to know when you can do certain things with your friends and knowing when you can't, and knowing that it's okay to be excluded sometimes from your friends, you know?
Jonah brings up a good point, though. Are we specifically talking about relationship in general, so parental,
Right.
friends, or are we dealing with a romantic relationship?
I think that we should focus more so on the romantic, because that's the part that gets the most misconstrued and
Especially with
convoluted with
teens.
teenagers.
Ooh,
Right.
child, it's
Because I don't think-
2021, honey.
I don't think a lot of people understand as teenagers what a relationship is.
Facts.
So tell me, I want to hear what you have to say. What is a relationship to you?
Right, everybody go around. So starting with
Honestly,
Sinai.
Honestly, I don't even think I can answer that because I have not been in a relationship before.
Okay, so
but-
what have you observed about relationships?
All right.
Embarrassing. I think a relationship is when you guys love each other dearly. Well, you don't have to love each other when you first start, but y'all click. You benefit from one another. Whatever somebody is weaknesses, it's their other person's strength, and vice versa. And you help each other grow. If there's nobody slacking in the relationship. There's not one person putting in more energy than the other. It's more like 50-50. Maybe
How about you,
60-40.
Zayla? How about you?
They said I'm
I'm kind of in the same predicament as Sinai. That kind of awkward because I'm 17. But anyways,
Girl, you got a good enough
I'm 14,
perception.
by the way. I can put my
from who?
Instagram. Just in
From
case.
where?
Zayla, what is a relationship to you?
I guess for me, a relationship is it's very simple. It's like two people constantly choosing to decide to love each other every day with everything that they do. Or well, not everything that you know what I'm saying. Constantly choosing each other, constantly saying yes. But that's it.
I have a question.
Wait,
but we can go off
But let's go around.
I want to hear what Jonah has to say about what
Right.
he thinks a relationship is.
So y'all know okay. So I think that a relationship to me is someone. It's a bond. It's a bond that you don't find in anybody else. It's a certain thing where you feel available to this person. You feel most yourself around them. You can come to them for anything. You feel comfortable around them. You are vulnerable with them. They are your companion. You think that it works because you help what the other person lacks. It's something that I think is cohesive. And if one person is lacking another, then it's not going to work. It's 50-50 like Sinai said.
Okay.
That's what it is to me.
Jayla, tell me.
Y'all know I'm a little bit of a pessimist when it comes to conversations like this. And let me tell you why. So I'm going to define relationships, but I'm going to do it with the modifier of people our age, right?
Okay.
So as a teenager, what a relationship is to me, it's more of an exchange, right? What you're exchanging is completely up to whether the relationship is healthy or not, which we got to get into that,
Yes,
what that
we
looks
have
like. But I feel like it's an exchange and it's more of a learning opportunity than a resource. So
Right.
what I mean by that is when I look at my parents' marriage, I see that as they are an institution almost. They're a resource to others and to each other. I think at our age, it's just more of a learning opportunity.
Agreed.
For you to start filling some of these things out. And that's why if I had to affirm or, negate the question, if I had to take a stance, I would say that there is not very much space for teenagers to be dedicated to a hustle.
But before we get into that, I want to talk about my
Go ahead, get into it.
Right, because
because I think we really have to talk about it. Ultimately, I think we've all kind of touched on it. It is a learning experience, but at the same time, it comes down to a choice. Are we willing to give ourselves to someone at this day and age? Are we willing to say, hey, let me sacrifice myself a little bit. Let me give myself to you so you can be happy, so we can both be happy. I think it's more of a learning experience. Like
and then let me
said.
give you the best of me.
Exactly. Give you the best
you
of
can
me.
give.
Right, because I think of this, right now we are observing. We are observing our parents. I believe you said your parents have taught you what love is, but I think some people around me have taught me what love isn't.
Yeah.
And it's like, I can't go that route.
Right.
And so that leads me to the next question. Before we can even dissect, what is a healthy relationship? What is, anything else? What is love?
Right.
What is love?
And then a question off of that: can you choose to love somebody?
Right, but my question is, can you even define love? Because I think that it's such an abstraction. Like it's such an abstraction. It's like it's so I don't know what I just said. I'm like, but it's so subjective to the person. Like it changes with every single person.
But do you think there are
so
commonalities? There are commonalities between relationships that you can find in everyone to help define love.
Right. I think that love will never have a discrete definition, though.
I don't think so, but I think that, like we said, there are certain instances where we have seen what love is and what love isn't.
I think we can find a value
that's love all day, because this might sound real poetic, y'all, but let me keep it real. Whenever I think of love, I say it's a rose. Okay, love can hurt, but love can also be beautiful. I think about the thorns of a rose. It can always heal, but it can still hurt you at the same time. So I think what we're really looking
Come on. Let's not slip past that.
I think what we're really looking at here is, we can dissect the values of love all day, but we have to keep it real in our experience.
Right.
What we have been through.
Okay, can I do something Jonah said? Because I feel like a lot of people, I find that problematic, and I'm going to tell you what. I feel like a lot of people have this idea that, it's subjective. It is what you say it is. No. And I don't know. I know that people are not going to sign up to the idea that there is a standard for what love is and what love isn't. People naturally are going to want love to be what they say it is. But I'm like, for me personally, at this age, if we are signing up to be in this,
situationship.
And you are the man.
That's a different story in itself.
And you are either saying you love me or you want to get to that point with me. I'm going to tell you how I want to be loved. Because I don't need you assuming how to love me.
But Jayla, how do you know that?
How do you know
how you want to be loved?
I think it's based off those learnings.
I know what I like and I don't like.
But then I don't think that negates the fact that that is subjective. I think that it's still depending on the person, because how are you going to tell somebody how their definition of love should be tweaked?
But I think sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I'll pass it to you. It's like, how can you say, for instance, Zayla's in a relationship with a guy and she's like, I love this guy because of this, that, and that, and I'm like, no, that isn't what love is. Who am I to be like, that isn't what your love is? Like, I don't think that's but I don't have the position to do that. You get what I'm saying? It's dependent on the person.
Well, I think
going off of that, I think that although I believe love is subjective, because my love, the way I love somebody or the way I want somebody to love me could be different from the way Jayla wants somebody to love her. But I think there's a commonality, like the common value, and personally I think that is protection.
Yeah, but
the reason... Okay.
Can I
do with that?
Go ahead. Yes.
Okay, the reason that I disagree with that is that because you're talking about the practice of love.
You're talking about the standards that you have.
Right? When you practice love, of course there's going to be differences and how it translates based on how we present, based on our upbringings.
Right.
But if we're talking about love as a concept, I disagree that there's just it's subjective and it's whatever it's practiced differently, but I think there should be some type of standard for what love is. And, for example, I do not, I have no what am I trying to say? I have no desire to be abused in any way, right?
Okay.
But no, okay.
Abused.
No, I
love
either.
Right.
Anybody, and it's
Right.
right. I'm not saying that anybody does. I'm not gonna speak for anybody though. I know me personally, I have no desire to be abused in any way, right? And let's say I come across a guy where abuse is kind of a way that he's showing his love. That's what I was saying, Zayla, that I'm going to tell you exactly how I want to be loved, because I don't need you inferring that, oh, this is how I love, and I love
that's
you.
your love.
Okay, wait. Personally, I want to deal with that because obviously nobody wants to be abused. I don't think that anybody's goal to be abused. So what you like, obviously, like nobody wants that. So I was saying, like, the only reason why I asked, because for me personally, I don't know how I want to be loved because I don't know what love is.
Same.
Which is why I want to deal with getting back to the definition of what love is.
Right.
And really dissecting
But
regardless of its subjectivity.
But since it's an abstraction, I think it's very hard to define.
Can we
Right,
tell
and today's
At this point, it is very subjective depending on the person.
And also, I think that's the issue. I think that wait, you just said that you don't know how to love because you don't know what love is. But I think that trying to define love is problematic because you can't put a definition on love.
Going off,
I think that it's something that you learn because you're like, oh, that's what it feels like. But you can't have a definition of it, in my opinion.
But where are you supposed to get these examples from? It's like, let's say in Jayla's case, that she gets in a relationship with dude and knows exactly how she wants them to love her,
right,
based off the things that she likes.
Mm-hmm.
But you see that?
Can I expound upon that though? Because I have a definition for love, and it's solely based off of, I know everybody at this table loves me. I know the people behind these cameras love me. I know my parents love me, and it's because of the actions. Yeah. So when I tell you I know exactly how I want to be loved, I mean it. Because how I'm defining love is coming directly from people who I feel has loved me in the past and in the present.
And I think we also need to separate the definition of love and in love. I think that's...
Let's talk about that. Oh my God,
I'm doing something.
Let's talk about that.
Because before we even go back to choosing relationship versus grind, are we willing to risk something?
I'm so sorry.
I'm really not that comedic.
Are we really willing to risk something?
Risking
our dreams, aspirations. And if we're not even really in love with the person, what are we doing?
How do we know if we're in love?
How do we know we're
Being
in love?
in love at this age is so hard to achieve.
It is hard, but sometimes it's attainable.
Because men are immature at this age. They don't even know what they want themselves.
That's
you're
immature.
That's a
who hurt you?
We're not going to go down that route.
But seriously, like on a serious note, I'm genuinely confused. I'm stuck. I have no idea what love is. I don't know what it means. I don't know how to identify what love means to me.
Because
period.
So
I don't understand.
Okay, to help Zayla out, right?
Okay.
I don't.
There are some definitions and some context to what love is. Dea, I know that you prepared the forms or the types of love, and I feel like that's a great place to start.
Yes, because I think I'm gonna say it word from word, because I think in order for us to really understand what we need, what we desire out of love, we have to understand what love catalyst is.
The bones of it.
The bones. This is the foundation of understanding who you are as a person and how you want to be perceived to others. In this case, your significant other. So a catalyst is an agent that provokes or speeds significant change of action. A love catalyst is a part of yourself that enhances your experience with a type of love. For example, self-love.
Wait, pause. What are you doing? Bro.
Go ahead, continue.
Okay, so self-love is catalyzed by the soul, and affectionate love is catalyzed by the mind. So therefore, your catalyst is an agent that provokes the feeling of a certain type of love. So we need to dive into this, because it's many different types of love. There's philia, affectionate kind of love. There's, I believe there's enduring love. Storge, if I'm pronouncing that right. Storge?
Storge, isn't there like agave?
Yeah.
Agave, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, agave, eros, ludus. It's like so many factors that we have to fully understand before we can even ask somebody to love us.
And some of that has to do, I'll pass it to you next. Some of that has to deal with stages of development. I know I take AP psychology, so I'm getting
anyways.
But
She's
educated.
But no,
The
honestly,
socials.
the part of it has to do with stages of development.
Yeah.
And y'all have shamed me about talking about this earlier, but it really does go. Your brain plays a huge role into it.
But to that point, I think each of these love catalysts are involving in these developments, though.
Yeah.
Because you're looking at the affectionate love. You're looking at the love that you're having for yourself.
Right.
Because all of these things are changing as you're evolving.
Look, self-love for Zayla as a 17-year-old is not going to be self-love for Zayla as a 60-year-old.
Agreed.
And affectionate love for her right now is not going to be the same for her when she's 60.
Right.
That's why I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't stress this enough. Your brain plays a huge role. And if it's okay with you guys, I'm going to share some research, right?
Drop the fact. The sect.
Okay, research suggests, right, that most humans, their brain takes about 25 years to develop. So that means for the most part, by the time you are 25, your brain is fully developed. Now, for women, this happens faster in some instances, but for people on a scale in general, 25 is when...
Y'all always trying to shade the men.
No, we're just not saying that.
That's a different conversation.
It's a different conversation.
Continue.
We're going to get into that later in another podcast.
So look out for that.
It's a nuance. It's definitely a nuance. So with that being said, the part of your brain that controls affection and what we call love is your VTA. It's in your midbrain. And it's directly connected to the neurotransmitter dopamine. Dopamine is the feel-good part of your brain. So a part of attraction, which is mainly what, in my opinion, teenagers practice now, is directly connected to that part of your brain, which is not done developing until the age of 25. So I'm like, it scientifically is problematic.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, even like, okay, romantic relationships.
Yes.
You're talking about the development and how we're not fully done until like 25 average. Okay.
Not even that for me.
The thing is, we can be corrupted by that romantic idea of love, and we didn't even do anything. By our parents,
Social media,
by our friends.
That's another
by
point.
Social media.
That is another
TV
point.
media.
I said, yo, if you don't even know what feel good means to you at the age of 15 or 17, it's like, okay.
And that's
I know
okay.
There's this concept
And that is
right.
That's
And it's completely okay.
Right.
But I'm like, I wish I would have researched the rates of people who have endured some type of emotional trauma before the age of 25.
Exactly.
Because I've learned in AP psychology how trauma can stunt brain development, meaning that there are probably tons of people who are walking around right now thinking that, oh, I know I want to be loved, or I know how to love people, when scientifically
they don't.
Your growth has been stunted since the age of 12 or 15 whenever whatever happened to you, and trauma comes in so many forms. It's not just
how do you
how
do you grow over that stunt?
right.
And also,
That's the
That's the
question.
hump that has to be.
I think that growing over that stunt comes with experience. I think that it comes with the, like she said,
can we
development.
Even say that? Go ahead, finish, but
Because as you, and it sucks. It really does suck to say this, but the trauma's not going to go away. You're going to have to just learn how to accept that and move on with your life. I don't think that trauma is something that you can ever necessarily get over, because you can't.
I believe you can heal from it.
I feel like you can heal, but it's going to always be there.
I think of trauma this way. It's just a marking. It's a stamp that says, "Hey, I was here at this point, but I'm no longer here. I will get over it."
It's like a scar.
Yeah, it's a scar. It's
exactly. Like I really wish I could have had this.
You actually overcame that.
Right. And I really wish. And I saw this TikTok the other day. I know, don't get on.
I know TikTok has to be
but y'all,
the education is cool.
Y'all, but I saw this TikTok the other day, and I really wish I remembered it. But like, it was like saying the five stages of getting over trauma, and it like had grief, then anger, then acceptance, then healing. Like,
that's 5 stages of anything, isn't it? Like, because they use that like everywhere.
Well, shoot, I'm just saying what I saw. But so I thought that it was very lols. I thought that was very like
that is not a word.
LOLs. I thought it was very just like interesting, because I don't know if y'all saw it a lot, I guess, but I've never really seen that, and I was like, that's very interesting. So I thought that like that was cool. But
Can we go back to Zayla's question for a second?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, you asked how, because I want to provide solvency for our audience.
Yes, we need
how
solvency.
do you, get over that stunt, right? And there are so many people who are probably the thing, and I'm gonna read y'all this warrant. It says, unfortunately, those who are emotionally stunted rarely think reflexively about their actions and thoughts, and as a consequence, they rarely recognize that what they're doing is abnormal. Instead, they perceive their behavior as common and socially acceptable. So the hard part about this is a lot of times you don't know that you have an issue. You don't know that something is wrong. You may not even know that what you endured in the past was traumatic for you.
Yeah.
And so that's why I'm like, it really, literally, it takes a village.
It does.
It literally, like, if as a person, me out of my existence and my eyes, I can't tell. I need people in my life, and that's what I'm saying. That's what love is to me. I need people in my life who are able to observe, acknowledge, and then accommodate with me, because you see everything that's going on, and you recognize, okay, this person might be emotionally stunted. And I feel like what happens a lot of times in our society, especially with people our age, is that you have two people who are either figuring it out or already emotionally stunted, coexisting in a situation because they both are equally confused.
Right.
No, but I don't even think it's just that. I think a lot of people are running away from it.
That part too.
Running away from the trauma that...
Yes.
Which has to do with acceptance. I think that in order for you to fully go through that process, you have to accept that the trauma happened. You have to accept.
But at the same time,
but with that, you have to understand yourself and study yourself to a certain extent. I don't think that a lot of
you can't
people are
really run
for
away from something that you don't know is happening.
Right.
Self-observation.
But sometimes trauma is actually apparent to some.
Yeah.
But
there are
how do
some
you know it's
But
trauma?
okay. In my instance, I guess I'm emotionally stunted. I did not know that before. Thank you.
I agree.
I
mean, I am.
Look,
guys.
No. But I'm saying, like,
kumbaya.
Moment of silence.
It wasn't sarcastic. I promise. Like, I'm literally trying to get to the solvency. Now, I understand. I'm emotionally stunted, and the way that I carry myself is praise and standard. Because the way I'm really work driven. I don't really care about guys. I don't care to distract myself with any of that stuff.
Agree.
But when it comes to certain things that I'm supposed to feel emotional about, Jonah catches me on it all the time.
I do.
He's like, "You're so insensitive. How can you say that?" And at that point, it's like I'm questioning myself, because I'm like, am I wrong for feeling the way that I do? Or what can I do to... Am I supposed to... what's the thing called? Change the way I feel to accommodate him? Who's in the wrong here, and how do I fix it?
I think that goes with, I don't know, I don't want to use the word code switching in the wrong way, but I think it's also, you can change the way you love somebody for the person. I don't know, that makes sense, but like, I can love
wait, can I say something really
right back
quickly?
to the point of understanding yourself, because I think it needs to be a deep dive within yourself. To go back to the point, I don't think someone can love you until you love yourself.
And then,
at the same time,
can I say something really quickly?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
and I'm passing you next, okay? But to that point, Zayla, and I do understand that, and I get that, but say, for instance, you then are ready for a relationship. That becomes problematic. I'm not gonna lie. You not being able to be emotionally available is something that is not necessarily healthy for a relationship. Because in a relationship, you have to be emotionally available with your partner.
It depends on her partner, because aren't you going to
because
be
I want
partners
Zayla
with...
to have some solvency.
Right, that's what I'm trying to give her.
Because I believe Zayla's not the only one at this table who is experiencing that,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't think she's the only person who is actually experiencing this conversation either.
Right? As a friend of yours, right? All of us, we're a family here, right?
Right.
As somebody who, deals with you, that sounds so bad. As somebody, who's
been around
who
me,
are around you on a regular,
Associates,
right?
right.
If I acknowledge that there are, either experiences that you've been through or, whatever that has created an emotional stunt for you, right? It is. I don't want you to ever think that, oh, am I a burden to somebody else? Do they have to accommodate for my emotional issue? That's not the situation. We all love differently. We all have experienced love differently. It goes back to what Daya was saying. It just takes a matter of understanding, right?
Yes.
And whoever is compatible with you will understand that your experiences have caused some emotional stunting for you, which is fine. It's literally fine. And I don't want you to view it as an issue, because I don't think it really becomes an issue worth,
you
going to the doctor
fix it.
and, getting, diagnosed and stuff like that until you see signs of your humanity being stripped away. And from you, I have never seen signs of you losing a part of your humanity. And even that needs to be defined. But as far as just, a decent acknowledgement for human life, don't ever think that that's in question.
That's not in question here.
There are just some things that you are less sensitive to because of your experiences. Mm-hmm. But it's not problematic because at the end of the day, you're an amazing friend and you get your work done.
Right.
She know what she wants.
She know what she wants. And she gonna get it.
But at the end of the day, I think it's problematic because you want to fix it. You want to understand everybody's points of view. And that's just, I love that about you.
And you had a point of acknowledging it, and there are so many people who are way older than you.
That are in denial.
Who are in denial.
Who would never know.
It's 30-year-old people out here.
And it's not even a matter of being in denial for some. There are probably so many people who are older than her who don't even know and are surrounded by people who probably have the same issue and don't know or don't have enough love or the perception of love to tell that person that.
But I want to drive this back to our point though. Because what I'm looking at here is that we need balance. In order to either understand if we can handle a relationship and a grind at the same time, we have to marry it with, balance. And I think I think it's work that needs to be done to get there. So what I'm asking here is, what you about to say, girl?
Cause y'all, y'all not gonna like me for this, but at the same time, I get it. Right, you need experiences with relationships. I mean, there's this idea that in order for you to, grow up and have successful relationships in college and when you're grown, it takes experience, which I definitely get. Yeah. But I'm gonna be completely honest. As of now, I know that I prioritize generational wealth. I prioritize upholding what my parents fought so hard for me to have over me trying to figure out a way to be emotionally available for somebody who won't be developed until he's 25.
Right, to that point, I think everybody at this table, I mean, let's be real, we got folk who want us. We do. We have a lot of people who want us at this. At this very
who's everybody?
Uno, dos, tres.
You stand alone.
But I think what we're honestly are focusing on is, hey, I know where I need to get. I know where I want to be. And I'm going to find every way to get there. So no, at this very moment, do I want to sacrifice the relationship for myself? Because I feel like I've always done that.
Right.
Do you sacrificing?
I'm not opposed.
I feel like I've always been sacrificing myself for others to feel happy when I am being stripped away of what I want.
With that, I think the question with sacrificing yourself is, what is your intent with relationships or getting into them? Like, why do we date?
What is your love catalyst?
Yeah.
What is your love catalyst?
Wait. I don't think those are the same things that I'm talking about. No, those are not the same.
What you talking about?
Like, I'm talking about, why are you dating right now? Like, why would you get in a relationship right now?
At this very moment, I don't have the answer because I don't think I need one. I think
the reason I wouldn't is I can't say on the podcast.
Very moment.
But
do you think there's a point in life or in time where you need a relationship?
I think there's a point in time where I would want one, but I necessarily don't need one right now.
Will we ever necessarily need one? Is my question.
Well, actually, I do think I would need one if everybody else.
That's a human nature aspect.
I'm just saying, like, obviously we have a sense of
I think we do.
feeling of belonging, but I want to know, like, how deep is that?
I think that can I say something? I think that everything, and then after this, I want to like dissect something else. I think everything has a purpose. Like, I think that everything in this lifetime has a purpose. Relationships have a purpose. I think there is a time in our lives where we're gonna want a companion. We're gonna want somebody to be with, and we might need them in that moment. But right now, is a different story from 30 years from now, But also, I feel like we've been like kind of. We've dissected this love, but I want to kind of dissect the grind part because what is grind? What is the definition of that? And teen, like I think that we need to dissect both parts.
We're an example of teen grind.
So I think that we should go around again and say what
it's a lifestyle.
But wait for the definition because I want to go around and do the same thing that we did for love, but with grind.
Okay, let's get it.
So then I go.
I think grind is the determination, the tenacity, the drive you have have to get something to reach your goal, and not only to reach your goal, but to surpass it and do your very best at reaching that goal. Put your 100% in it and help other people, not just yourself, reach that goal, but help other people reach the same success that you reached.
Interesting.
No, not as a communal thing.
Right, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
okay, for Daya, I'm going to get off of Daya's point and say that for me, it is a lifestyle.
Okay.
It is a lifestyle based off of tunnel vision to get to the goal that you want.
Yeah.
Like, you're focused. It takes focus and discipline in order for you to really hone in to get to that goal. And maybe in the time frame that you assign to it too. But what I'm saying is, it's literally just you going for it and not stopping until you get it. And that's it.
That's it.
And yo, I think that was something.
It was like, no, you can go to parties.
No. Nah. I wasn't even gonna say that. I mean, you can, but I think that grind is a mindset. I think that in order for you to say that you're grinding, you have to be in the mindset to go and be able to not stop no matter the obstacles, no matter the criticism, no matter the different barriers that are going to be in your way, because grind is not easy. And what people don't always show is the hard part of grind. You just see on social media the money, the glam, the glitz, the glam behind grind, but nobody shows the breakdown, the depression, the things that aren't right.
Oh,
the things that are not glitz and glam behind grind.
I want to talk about that though.
Let's talk about it.
I think, and for me right now, let's
Definition.
talk about my perception of grind real quick.
And then we'll go
skip over Jayla.
All right, we'll come back to you,
Go ahead, baby.
We got you, boo.
Go ahead.
No, I was like, go ahead.
No, but I think for me, it's more of realizing that I had people behind me that made sure I'm here today, invested
Talk
in
about
me.
it.
Made sure that I got everything I need in order to be excellent. So right now, it's a tunnel vision. It's a hustle. It's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. But for me, when I think about grinding, I think about staying up late so I could tell my mother one day, hey, I got you.
That's okay. I'm gonna let Jayla do your definition, but I have a question, Jay, for that. Jayla, go ahead, do your definition.
Go, girl.
I'm good.
Okay. I'm gonna get scientific once again today.
All right, let's get
I got the glasses on. Y'all know I'm gonna get a little scientific. Okay, right.
Oh my God.
So
That was so cool.
Don't rain on her parade. Go, Jayla. Go.
Hey, girl.
Love you, Jayla.
It's okay, we love you.
can't be a nerd in peace. Anyways, okay, so y'all know how in science you learn about work and force, right? Mm-hmm. This is physics.
Physics get on my nerves, boy.
I am
Physics mainly.
Y'all know the struggle.
The struggle of physics.
Okay, the definition for work in physics, right? Work is the transfer of energy by a force acting on an object as it is displaced, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm gonna break it down.
And energy can't be created or destroyed. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Baby, you in 8th grade math. Please move.
No, but I was gonna connect it to energy can't be created.
Let me get into my definition, right?
Definition.
I feel like grind is it's an energy. Like yes, it's an attitude, it's a lifestyle. I get all of that. But for me, y'all know I'm spiritual. There is a spiritual aspect to grind that I don't even feel like really can be described. Like for people who hustle and who are hustlers, it's just this feeling you get in the pit of your stomach and you know I want it. Right. And I'm going to get it regardless. Yeah, I don't care. It's going to hurt.
It's going to hurt.
It's going to suck.
Right. I'm going to be sad, but I'm going to get that money.
I'm going to get it. I am literally going to get it. It's a transfer of energy put into a force. Mm-hmm. Now the forces, right, have different measurements, right? Mm-hmm. I think that their grind, because when we say grind, there's this connotation that it goes to, making money or being successful. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people grinding to do a lot of other things that are not connected to that. Right. So we can't automatically assume that grind is directly connected to, success or making money like we assume it is. That's why I'm like, the grind that I'm talking about is a work or a transfer of energy going into whatever your forces are. So what pushes you? Yeah. What pushes her is the thought that I'm going to get it, and it's for my mama, and it's for my brother, and it's for everybody who came before me who made sure that I'm here, right? If your forces are, I want to be Instagram famous, or I want to, be this or that, your grind and your work is either going to be less or more than others,
right.
based on your forces.
I think it's contagious too.
Right.
It's really contagious.
And that goes with
but the question, it kind of ties into that forces thing that you're talking about. Okay, so Daya, you talked about how your family and everybody that poured into you is why you do what you do, or why you have the grind that you have. Do you think it's a responsibility for your grind? Like,
I don't necessarily take it as a responsibility because they never told me, hey, you got to do this. It was like my own, saying like, hey, I'm going to do it.
Because, but they
never told me to do so.
My thing is, my question based off of what you believed that force was, what do you consider that force? Like, what is it called to you? Like, what would you name that, if anything?
Honestly, I don't know what to name it. I'm not going to hold you because I'm going to tell a little bit of my life story for a second because
we're going to get personal. Get out the tissues, baby. The tissues.
But no, for me, I'm saying, hey, I'm going to make sure, because we're all surrounded here by our ancestors. We are all here for a reason. Mm-hmm. For me, my grind is instilled through my village. Mm-hmm. Not just my mother, but her friends, my aunties, these people who I'm well connected to, who have got me at this table, who have got me into many doors. Mm-hmm. That is exactly what I do. But I think for me, specifically with my mother, she is a hard working woman.
Love Miss Farrah.
To honestly see her go through what she has been through, to see her actually beat the barriers, to tell a man like, hey, you are not going to keep me down. I'm gonna do what the heck I need to do. I'm gonna make sure I get it. For me, no, I don't have that. I don't have a man telling me to hold me back. Mm-hmm. But I think my mother's love, I think my mother's care, I think my grandmother's care. Both are single mothers handling what the heck they need to get done. Mm-hmm. And that's going to push me further because I do not want to waste nobody's time.
Right. Too much is given, much is required.
Too much is given and too much is required.
Right. And
that's exactly why I say it's contagious, specifically with this village. Because my mother's grind is going to impact my grind. Mm-hmm. My grind is going to impact my little brother's grind. Mm-hmm. My little brother's grind is going to impact his friend's grind. Mm-hmm. My mother's friend's grind is going to impact my mama's grind.
Link chain?
Right. You see?
Yes.
It's contagious.
Yes. And Daya, yo, that is literally so good. And I think that solvency. Let's talk about solvency here. I think that like honestly, because for some people it might be hard. They're like, yo, I want that grind, but like I'm stuck. And one thing that I would say is who you surround yourself with, because I think that's such a huge part, right? It being contagious. If you have friends that are go-getters, you're gonna want to be pushed to be just up there with your friends. If you have friends that are not wanting anything, they're just that's gonna be contagious as well. Energy is contagious regardless. You need to be around people that are gonna push you to be your better self.
My friend and I were just talking about
this.
Wait,
step to that is you have to be okay being the only one.
You have
to.
Because let me tell you something. You're gonna start off as the only one, but you're not gonna end off as the only one.
Right.
Let me get into my life story. Yes. Hold on. Let me get into a little bit of my life story. My dad has always told me my whole life, if everybody is going this way, you can guarantee that going that way is the right way.
Right.
You can almost guarantee it. Typically, society moves in directions that are opposing to where everybody really needs to be going.
Yeah.
And so you literally have to be okay with being the only one, and it sucks.
It sucks.
You literally, it is not fun doing it alone. But I was the only one for a long time, y'all. I was the only one for a long, and it wasn't until this right here,
this space
right here,
the Scholar Social,
that I found a community. But I love y'all, and y'all know I love y'all, and I will go hard for every single one of y'all. But it is because that I think independently we all know that. God forbid, but if this were to fall apart today, I would still be okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still get it regardless. And some people view it as, oh, that's selfish.
It's not.
That's not. No,
it's not at all.
That's what we need, because that's what God is.
Because that's
gonna keep us going.
Because if every one of us had that mindset, Jayla, if every single one had that if all of us had that mindset, it's no way that we are not going to be unstoppable as a group.
Thank you.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And that's exactly why I want to focus on individualism, because I know this journey that we have been on. We don't have to talk about it right now, but it's a journey that we have been on for this past year. we have been told, hey, you're being selfish right now.
Right.
Hey, you're not here for me right now. And I think all of us has taken a step back from being that ride or die friend, from being the beautiful, wonderful, supporting daughter, son, making sure, hey, I still got you, but sometimes, hey, I gotta focus on me.
Right.
I gotta make sure I get what I want. So, because I think what all of us at this table right now are feeling is that, hey, you're right. If we broke apart right now, we would still get it.
Right.
Jonah, model agency, poetry, journalism, film, marketing, ambassador, whatever you want to do. We got many acting. We still got to work on that.
Yeah.
But right now, acting. We still gonna get it either way.
Right.
And so I don't think individualism should be taken as being disrespectful or being selfish, because that's not what it is. Because I think a lot of us are those ride or die chicks in relationships and friendships and anything. And when we actually finally take a step back, it's like, where are you when I need you? I was here always.
Right.
And you have to build up yourself and your foundation before you can help other people. And
yes. And sometimes you do have to look in the mirror and say, hey, am I being the right friend?
And and y'all, this is why I affirm my initial statement. I do not believe that it is smart for people in our age group to try to find a way to balance relationship versus grind.
Especially if you're trying to marry the dude.
Because the grind that is required of us right now, because we are still developing, the level of discipline and focus, the complexity of it requires so much energy and time. And I know if I had a boyfriend, he would be the most ignored.
He would be the number
and lonely. But wait, because I literally do not have time to be emotionally available and dissect my emotional capability
to cater to you.
Have a successful relationship with you, along with maintaining the same fork and the same force to the goal I want.
Okay, but wait, what if y'all both have a grind?
And it's the same grind. And it's the same grind.
This is what we like to hear. No,
I was going to say that earlier. I was like, the type of people.
It's impossible.
The type of people
plausible. I said, is it plausible?
The type of people. The type of people. Yes, the type of people that we get into relationships with. Because, like me, or any of us at the table, we have a grind. We know we pack. We know we busy. And then let's say we each find somebody that has a grind that requires the same amount of time and focus. At the end of the day,
we'll be married.
Yes,
right now.
But there was a male version of us. We'll be married right now.
Right. So I'm saying like
child marriage.
But I have something to say. Are you want to finish?
I was just saying like
right. Okay.
Oh wait. Let me just finish.
Crystallize it. Got you.
But I was just saying like, if you guys have the same amount of drive, focus, whatever, and you guys know the amount of time that is necessary for each, but you still make time for each other, doesn't it make it more like valuable?
Like I want it.
Right, but y'all, let me going back to Jayla's point, and I'm gonna say, I think that that's extremely impossible at this age.
Yes, and how rare are those people?
I don't think. Yes,
I think it is.
You think it is?
Where's the implausibility?
I think that it is implausible because what Jayla said, she said the amount of time and dedication that it requires to have the grind at this age.
It's not just having it.
I think we need to identify the actors, because I think specifically what she was talking about, like is saying, hey, yeah, we got our grind, but this other person right now does not have a grind.
What me and Jonah are referencing is that it's not just having the grind, the work it takes to maintain it. I think y'all are downplaying the work it takes to have it and uphold it and carry it through.
But not even that. Wait, can I finish?
Go ahead. Yeah, finish your thought.
Okay, what I was saying is, if y'all both have that grind and that go get it mentality, when are you gonna have time for each other? Because
it would be easier though.
How? My question is, if you're fully immersed in your grind and doing everything that you need to do, which is very, very time consuming. When somebody
lacks a grind, you always have to explain yourself to them.
Right.
And I think it's easier.
No, I don't think so.
But somebody's on their track road, let's say surgeon. Focus on the surgeon. Then somebody's track road to be a lawyer. When do you have time to be?
When does the grind stop?
Right, and because you don't have at this age the amount of time that it requires. I don't think that you have time to be in a relationship for it to be healthy.
But my question still remains: when does the grind stop? Because at the end of the day, let's say you do want to be a surgeon. You finally got the surgeon. You still need to maintain being a surgeon. That still takes time.
But you're more developed in that age bracket than now.
Listen. I see what you're saying, right? When does the grind stop? The grind never stops.
But
no, listen. but the energy, and that's what I'm saying, it goes back to the force. The amount of work that you're putting into that force does decrease with time, right? We are, I think everybody at this table can agree that we are doing more than the average people in our age group, right? Meaning that in, an ideal world, by the time we're adults, we'll be doing less work than the people who are in our age group because of how much we overcompensated for when we were younger, right? I think that's the plan for everybody. We want to make our lives easier when we're adults because we don't want to repeat the same mistakes that our parents made. Right? We don't want to repeat them generational cycles.
Okay. Next podcast. Go ahead.
But at the same time, I see what you're saying, right? The grind it never stops. Honestly, it should never stop.
Right.
But because where we're choosing to prioritize, it's just where you choose to prioritize it. And I'm saying that when you're an adult, there is I stand by this. Being an adult is much harder than being a child. And I would much rather deal with the growing pains of having that grind right now when my parents still paid for my
investing in me.
I'm on my parents' insurance. I don't got no car. I don't got none of that. I would much rather deal with it now than wait till I'm an adult to start making things shake when there are so many other responsibilities.
But I think what we're really hitting on is like, okay, the grind evolves. Okay, we got to understand that the grind evolves. Okay, so we got to say, hey, one day we will want a remarriage. One day we will want a family. Okay, so we have to learn how to balance. Okay, so that's the solvency out of this. And I think we need to go ahead and crystallize this.
Wait. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I personally can't crystallize quite yet. Because I just have a few more questions. Because we talked about prioritizing. And we talked about the fact that the grind doesn't stop. And the fact that certain people need experience to heal from those emotional wounds and stunts.
Right.
So where do they mix?
Coexist,
Coexist, yes. Because the grind doesn't stop. This is all going to keep going, but this comes and goes. Can somebody
Wait, what comes and goes?
The relationships come and go.
Right, and that's where and that's what I think
it's overwhelming.
It's so... It's a waste of time to be trying to get in a relationship at this age. It is, and I stand by that. And I think that...
But Jonah is saying that being in a relationship... Because it's go time for us right now.
Right.
Being in a relationship forces us to deal with those emotional... hindrances that we were talking about earlier. Now, I'm not saying that they should not be dealt with, but I'm saying where you choose to deal with them, be extremely strategic about it, right?
Yes.
If me as a person, I'm like, okay, I'm emotionally stunted, right?
Okay.
Me hopping in a relationship could either do one or two things. It could help me, or in most cases, it could damage me further.
Right, and also, but like to Zayla, to your point, I think that it comes...
Are you, and I this is a great crystallization point.
I like that.
Are you willing to take the risk? That is what it comes down to. We know two things, right? The grind doesn't stop right now. We're going to have to get it regardless.
Agreed.
Right. But are you ready to take on the mantle of upholding your forces along with adding, another person's existence and another person's life? Right? I'm not saying add it to your plate as a burden, but do you have the skills in your arsenal to balance all of that? And that's really, and it takes self-assessing.
And I think that we have to leave it off with this. Understand yourself, study yourself, understand your love catalyst, understand your purpose, understand why you are doing what you are doing. Rather you are choosing not to grind right now. If you're choosing rather to really enjoy your teenage lives.
Then do that.
Then do it. There's no shame.
Y'all. I'm sorry. Please, can we address this point? It's been in my mind. No.
Just save that for the end. Go on.
And no. He said that we could keep going. Okay, and nobody has. I haven't been able to get out because y'all keep interjecting. What I'm saying is, I think that the grind that we're putting in right now, it's leading for us to not have to grind so much when we're older. Therefore, that's when relationships can come in once the grind has decreased, because the grind isn't going to be as intense throughout your whole life, because we're grinding so hard for us to be comfortable in the future. Therefore, when that comfortability comes, then a relationship could come in because you have room for other things. So therefore, I think that's where you ask, where do they coexist? When you are comfortable and you are stable and you can settle down and actually be ready for a relationship.
And we're not saying, oh no, you can't go on dates. Oh no, you can't have fun. I'm just saying, a serious relationship at this day and age is not possible for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that's not saying that it's not possible for others, because people have different understandings. So therefore, we have to understand ourselves, study yourself, understand your love catalyst, understand your purpose, and understand what you are doing, and understand what the purpose of your grind.
That's what I kept trying to get him to say. Start playing the song.
As I told my best friend's mother, and I stand by this, and this is Jayla's position, and everybody's gonna know. I would rather deal with my heartbreak, right, in the bedroom of my mansion than sit here crying, wiping my tears during free period when I got class in 30 minutes.
Right. And I think that's just all.
I don't like that.
But
You're supposed to
y'all, honestly, I think that today was a great conversation, and we honestly hit on some really good points.
I think
because y'all know one thing about us, we gonna talk about it.